Hi everyone, Sunhydro here, and today I'm going to talk about Mona as a Hydro applier. In the midst of better Hydro appliers such as Kokomi and recently released Nilou, I'd like to bring out a new perspective on Mona as Hydro applier for the Bloom team. Well, if you are a free-to-play player, you're more than likely to have limited Hydro appliers like me for your Bloom team. In my case, I rarely focused on Hydro characters before thanks to my Ganyu that I mostly use to clear the game contents. Now, since the meta shifted, I'm adapting to the current patch and thanks to my team comp, found Bloom reaction, which is in my honest point of view, is a fun elemental reaction as it allows me to have two different Bloom team comps of Hyperbloom and Burgeon. As you guys would have known, Bloom reaction is triggered when Dendro meets Hydro. Knowledge. And as a returning player with limited resources and characters options, I was left with either Barbara or Mona in my team as Hydro applier. Unfortunately, Barbara is out of the option because of her super small Hydro application range. On top of that, with her current level, I don't think she'll withstand taking blows from mobs level 90. My Mona on the other hand, isn't in a better position as well with her level 70 and barely working artefacts. But, as my aggravate reaction is not complete yet, I had to choose between finishing the team comp or continuing the game by using my Bloom team comp, and with that, Mona, here we go. As I'm running Burgeon team comp with Nilou and have no other strong Hydro applier in my team for Hyperbloom team comp, Mona is the only viable option that I could run right now with the following artifacts consideration: the Exile set and the Severed Fate set. Weapon wise, I guess I'm lucky enough to get the Wild Seed on her, and based on the build video that I watched years ago, say that it works for Mona. Well, if we dig down into the weapon, it does provide a noticeable 60% attack, 47 elemental damage increase, and 240 elemental mastery. The only problem is that either of these three buffs are randomized, so you don't know which one you'll get after you put her on the field. Well, my Mona's lack of damage and overall utility is mitigated by my Sucrose that help my team in dealing damage with her skill. On top of that, these two pairs really works well in my Bloom team comp because 1. It helps Mona in applying Hydro element to the enemy, and 2. It helps set up the damage by decreasing elemental resistance for better follow-up by my DPS. With enough information, let's move into the showcase. As the main Hydro applier, Mona's role is to hit as many enemies as possible with one skill use. This is very important because her kit doesn't have any heal and is one of the reasons why people prefer Kokomi compared to her. The way I mitigate her lack of heal along with her slow Hydro application is by always using her skill as far as she possibly could and use Sucrose to better spread this application faster. Well, sometimes it's not an initial setup considering my Sucrose Trillion Tales of Dragon Slayer, especially prepared for DPS. But as I'm running Hyperbloom team comp, getting that extra Dendro elemental spread can help us in maximizing the damage faster by creating extra Dendro cores. As a level 70 character who are fighting level 90 mobs, my Mona's role will be very similar to Sucrose where she will be needed only for setup. Well, at the moment, there's nothing that we can do about it as I'm focusing all of my resources on building my Dendro character first. I tried these two artifacts on Terror's Room and Electro Regis Vine, and here's what I found during my test. On trying the Exile artifact set, my thoughts remain unchanged because I've been running this set for quite some time and couldn't see a significant improvement in damage, or so I thought. Well, I think it's normal considering this was the very first set in the game and you guys can see it from the 4 sets bonus that only provides a total of 6 energy particles. In combat, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary in terms of these set bonuses because as you might have known, 6 energy particles won't do much, especially if your character's energy is below 50%. Practically, after I used Mona's burst, there doesn't seem to be a significant improvement in damage. A bummer? Yes, but to be honest, I didn't expect that much from this artifact because now that I know there's a better option, I think it's time to say goodbye to this artifact and move on to the new one. Still, kudos to the Exile set that helped me in navigating through Sumeru and allows me to experience Hyperbloom and Burgeon reaction. Moving to the next artifact set, the Emblem of Severed Fate. So the idea behind this artifact set come from the time when I was looking for 2022 Mona build and to be honest, had no idea that this set existed. Well, thanks to me who recently got back into playing Genshin Impact, this is good news for Mona as it allows us to step up her build without compromising any of her elemental recharge rate. As we know, Emblem of Severed Fate provides plus 20% energy recharge rate on the 2 sets bonus and increases elemental burst attack by 25% of energy recharge rate with maximum of 75% bonus damage. Sounds good? Well, on paper, yes, but on the field, there are some issues that I'd like to point out. Running Emblem of Severed Fate on Hyperbloom team comp doesn't seem to give a significant improvement in terms of damage. Again, I think it's due to the fact that Mona's burst plus 25% bonus damage from the artifacts is being popped by my Catching's level 8 talent with 140.8% attack. Which roughly translates to not that much damage output. Well, it might provide a difference in number if we compare it to the Exile set damage, but if we are going to compare it with the next showcase, there will be a huge difference in potential damage output. Now, going to the most important part of this build, testing her burst out. As excited as I am to see the potential burst out of Deluxe Down and Mona's burst, I had to keep my expectations in check because visually, there doesn't seem to be a huge visual indicator until I split the screen and see it side to side. On running Exile set, I'm able to reach 14k damage when Mona's bubble popped by down, and on the right you'll see how Emblem of Severed Fate elevate Mona's burst and reach 18k natural damage without food boost. Is it something good? Well, depends on how you see it. I had this case where my deluxe burst damage goes up to 20k and to be honest, I don't know how. However, considering this burst combo is something reliable that I can perform numerous times, I'm going to rely on this artifacts multiplier to create my burst Burgeon team comp. As happy as I sound, obviously there are things that I need to improve in order for me to get the most out of my Hydro player Mona, and that's her level, equipment and burst talents level. Now that I've covered all the points that I'd like to talk about, it's time for me to conclude today's video with the affirmation that Hydro player Mona is a fun one to try in a situation where you don't have any other strong Hydro units for Bloom team. Yes, I'm aware with some people's comment that will say Mona doesn't really work in current patch because she is outshined by other Hydro players, but as a free-to-play player, there are things that I had to accept, and that's the fact that I have to go explore the game contents with the unit that I have. What do you guys think? Make sure to leave your like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, comment below, and let's discuss.